And it looked like the Indiana Fever front office is in serious trouble for revealing some major information. Guys, how come I'm not seeing no scouts, bro? Where the scouting department? Do they even have a scouting department? You mean to tell me, as I look through this thing right here, y'all done made all the well, y'all done made, hold on, you lying to me.
So, Herb Simon, right? He apparently thought he could just build a championship team and everything would magically come together. But what we've seen, it's just empty promises, some really questionable player signings, and honestly still no winning culture to speak of. And the thing is, you've got Caitlin Clark, who's this undeniable star and the face of the whole WNBA, just sitting there. She's watching the cracks form right in front of her in this Fever organization. It's wild.
This is the team that has blown double-digit leads all season long. We just lost to the goddamn Washington Mystics. Terrible, man. That is a bad basketball team. They got two young, rising stars. They're rookies. We got dominated by Sonia Citron and Kiki Ariafin. They was just taking math class and sociology and chemistry 3 months ago. And they came out there and dominated us.
And get this, the fans are shelling out premium prices, just trying to get a glimpse of Caitlin's brilliance. But the team around her, it's nowhere near the level she demands. Like, they're just not ready to compete. The Caitlin Clark effect everyone talks about, that's totally real, it's alive and well. But unfortunately, the Fever's management under Simon's ownership is really showing some serious signs of neglect and mismanagement. It's a mess.
I mean, the bottom line, though, is Caitlin Clark is missing, and that is showing, and I think everybody is missing her, including myself. She has carved out this like really big niche in the WNBA. A lot of fans have come to see her, and she unfortunately has just been plagued with injury after injury, and the Indiana Fever have had to try to like tread water or like keep afloat, and fans are trying not to lose hope until and if she returns, because Caitlin Clark is the reason that a lot of people, myself included, are just so drawn to the WNBA, so drawn to her play style. And I gotta say, I really feel for the rest of the team.
Listen, it looks like Herb Simon is back to his same old tricks. It's like every executive decision for the Indiana Fever has been replaced with this let them figure it out themselves mentality. He just has to breathe near his checkbook, and boom, the arena sells out before he's even done counting his profits. But here's the kicker, on the other side of this ownership coin, and by coin, we're talking about that monopoly money rich people think lets them buy success without any effort. We've got a franchise that's desperately hoping their star player will just carry the entire organization on her back. Spoiler alert, she can't do it alone. No way.
Are in the process of building a $78 million practice facility. The Indiana Fever consistently draw over 16,000 fans to their home games. The Indiana Fever, amongst the top franchises in the league when it comes to merchandise sales. The Indiana Fever, now you know, marketing campaign. Kelly Krauskopf saying she wants to be the Apple of the WNBA. You would think, after all of these accolades, after all of the speculation, after all of the now you know, you'd think that we'd have a scouting department, right?
And get this, Herb Simon strolled into the Caitlin Clark era, acting like he expected instant success. But then he probably realized he'd been completely cutting back on the very infrastructure you need to actually support a championship team. And the craziest part, they were literally just throwing away opportunities with both hands. I mean, you could have built a world-class scouting department. You could have hired an elite coaching staff. You could have surrounded Caitlin with championship caliber players. But instead, they just chose to wing it. It was like phone-a-friend scouting and just hoping for the best when it came to building that roster. It's unbelievable.
You lying to me. I think they merchandise sales was up like 300%. Y'all done made all them millions off CC Effect. And y'all ain't hired no damn scouts. Caitlin's in deep trouble. Oh, it's looking real spooky. You mean to tell me Y'all done made all the millions, bro. Sold all them damn jerseys, and y'all do not have a scouting department. What the fuck? You mean to tell me? Hold on. Are you serious right now?
What's more, Herb Simon was totally happy to pay for fancy practice facilities, but he completely ignored the actual human side of things, like the infrastructure you need to identify real talent. Some of these executives, seriously, they didn't even know who they were signing. They were just standing outside agent meetings like it was some kind of basketball Woodstock, literally just hoping to hear the sound of competent decision-making through the concrete walls. It's a joke.
Slamberg chick, man. You're always picking up these randoms, dog. Like they going to Walmart. Hey, yo, can you play? All right, I got you. Go on a team. Like, come on, man. I'm sick of these players. We're at the point where you just need a body. But I just hope she puts a better performance than Sims did, because Sims was god awful. Sims looked like she never played basketball before. She was horrible. Somehow we have Turner on the team. I don't get it. But yeah, this new player, I looked her up. Average 6.8 in college.
Okay, let's talk about the Fever scouting department. Look, if you dropped a resume in their office, you'd probably just hear it echo. Seriously. The copy machine in the accounting department sounds like a war room compared to their scouting. The Fever don't have a system for scouting. They basically have a scouting suggestion box. What's happening is, everyone else is just borrowing minutes from competent organizations, and that's not good. This isn't just negligence, it's organizational malpractice. Herb Simon has really become a cultural liability. Honestly, the WNBA should be paying him hazardous duty pay for letting this franchise's potential just die on his watch. And meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham, who's a proven veteran, is still trying to figure out why she's glued to the bench when the team desperately needs her experience and her energy out on the court. It's just wild.
We lost by 1 point to them. The third quarter, they went on a 19-0 run. You hear me? Which put them up by 12. By the fourth quarter, they was up by 12 points. That's ridiculous. And then let me say this. What sense does it make for Stephanie Jigsaw White to take out Lexi and Sophie at the same time? You hear me? At the same time. Her rotations don't make no sense to me, and if it don't make sense to me, that allows me to think otherwise. She is fixing these games. The organization is in on it too as well. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, like I said, they just dragging us along to keep making money. Caitlin Clark, aka my precious CC, she ain't coming back this season.
So Sophie Cunningham, she gets starting minutes here and there. But usually, it's just sandwiched between really questionable rotations and what basically feels like a commercial for organizational dysfunction. But here's where this whole situation gets absolutely criminal. Caitlin Clark gets injured, and suddenly, it's like the Emperor has no clothes. This is the woman who single-handedly transformed this franchise into a relevant organization. She brought in $78 million worth of attention. She sold out arenas and made the WNBA appointment television. And then she gets hurt and the entire house of cards just collapses. Not because she wasn't incredible, not because the fans weren't loyal, but because Herb Simon and his management team built this amazing Ferrari engine that's Caitlin, and then they totally forgot to install the brakes, the steering, or even the transmission. It's mind-boggling.
You'd think that we'd have some bodies that sole job, the sole purpose, their sole designation within this franchise is just to sit in a dark room watching hours and hours and hours of film of players overseas. You'd think at least that's what Apple would probably do, right? If Apple was running the Indiana Fever, they'd probably invest in something like that.
Look at what happened when Caitlin went down with her groin injury. This wasn't just some random injury either. This was actually her third separate injury of the season. and each one was a brutal reminder that this franchise truly had no plan B. The Fever just completely nosedived from looking like championship contenders to a team scrambling for 7-day contracts with players they'd never even scouted before. I mean, Kira Lambert gets signed to a 7-day deal, and head coach Stephanie White admitted she didn't even know much about the player they just brought in. That's not roster management, folks. That's like playing fantasy football with real-life consequences. Meanwhile, you have experienced veterans like Sophie Cunningham watching quality minutes just slip away, while the coaching staff is trying to piece together rotations on the fly. You've got a proven defender and a clutch shooter sitting on the bench while the team is bleeding leads in crucial fourth quarters. This isn't player development, this is organizational negligence, just dressed up as giving everyone a chance. And let's talk about the elephant in the room. Brianna Turner. She's a player the Fever signed specifically to help with scouting and player evaluation. But wait, plot twist, the Fever don't actually have a scouting department, so they're using an active player to scout for them. All because they can't be bothered to hire actual professional scouts. That's literally like asking your Uber driver to perform heart surgery because you didn't want to pay for a real doctor. It's insane.
Right, it's all the above. It's seeing film, watching clips, talking to contacts and connections. Bree and especially has been super helpful in this. She's got a lot of contacts overseas who have seen Kyra, for example, play a lot overseas. Teammates that she's had that are over there that played with her.
Now, it was at that moment right there, everybody antennas went off. She said, Bree Turner actually discovered Kyra Lambert. Hold up, wait up a minute. How the hell do Bree Turner discover a player? She's no scout. She's no recruiter. How the hell? She's supposed to be focusing on the season of bad she playing. Y'all got Bree Turner scouting players?
The front office situation is so incredibly dire that when Coach Stephanie White was asked about their scouting process, she basically described a system that sounds exactly like calling your basketball-loving cousin for advice. She said it's all hands on deck, seeing film, watching clips, talking to contacts and connections. The translation there is pretty clear. We're just making this up as we go, because our owners simply didn't invest in the infrastructure you need to support a championship-level organization. But here's the most damning part of this entire Simon disaster. Caitlin Clark is carrying this organization so hard that her absence literally breaks the team. Get this, the Fever actually have a 10-9 record without Clark and an 8-5 record with her. Just think about that for a second. The most transformative player in women's basketball history, a generational talent who sells out arenas and breaks television records, is being failed by an ownership group that treats professional roster construction like it's just some kind of hobby. This whole injury situation exposes everything that's wrong with Simon's hands-off approach. Caitlin Clark had never missed a game in her entire college career or her rookie season. She was a player whose durability was legendary. But suddenly, in just her second season, she's dealing with multiple injuries to different parts of her body, and that speaks volumes about the training staff, the medical protocols, and the player load management. These are all areas where proper organizational investment really makes the difference between health and total breakdown. It's a huge problem.
I think that this Indiana Fever team taking Caitlin Clark serious, taking the window that they have with Caitlin Clark as serious as they possibly can, you'd think that they would invest in some overseas scouting, right? Right. It seems as if the overseas scouting department, some YouTube highlights, some clips, and a couple phone calls with a person on the other end saying, trust me, bro, trust me. Hey, is she good? Trust me, bro. Trust me. She's good. Oh, that's all I needed to see here. Is she good? Trust me, bro. Trust me. She's good.
So when Clark went down with her quad injury early in the season, the Fever should have been totally prepared for that. Instead, they just scrambled. Then, when she came back and immediately re-injured her groin, that should have been a massive red flag about rushing players back too quickly. And then she suffered a different groin injury and missed the All-Star game, a game that was literally being held in her home arena. That should have been a huge wake-up call about their organizational medical protocols. But here's where it gets even worse. They're signing replacement players they know absolutely nothing about. Okay, Odyssey Sims, she got a 7-day contract, and sure, she has some WNBA experience, but then there's Kira Lambert, a player who's never even played in the WNBA, who gets signed to help fill gaps caused by season-ending injuries to Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald, and the head coach openly admits she doesn't know much about this player they just committed to. This isn't just poor planning, folks. This is full-blown organizational malpractice. You don't wait until your house is on fire to install smoke detectors. You don't wait until your star player gets injured to develop depth, and you certainly don't wait until players suffer season-ending injuries to start scouting for replacements. It's just backward.
So, Indiana Fever signs another strawberry shortcake. Lambert, her name is Kyra Lambert. She had previous experience playing at Greece. Last time she played college was 2001, so she's a little older. Where do we get these randoms from, man? Like, come on. 5'9", strawberry shortcake. So we get another shortcake. Sims and her are about the same height. Dude, they love some shorties, man. Like, we need to get some taller players, man. At least 5'10" and above.
Now, Sophie Cunningham is watching all of this unfold from a really unique perspective. Think about it. She's a veteran player who's been in championship environments. She knows exactly what winning organizations look like, and she's stuck right now in rotations that just don't maximize her strengths. Sophie has proven she can hit clutch shots, she can defend multiple positions, and she brings the intensity needed in those big moments. But instead of building around that proven production, the coaching staff is literally experimenting with lineups featuring players they just met. The coaching situation under Stephanie White has become its own disaster. Honestly, fans are openly questioning her rotations, her in-game adjustments, and her ability to maximize the talent that's already on the roster. When you're pulling players who are hot, then inserting players who haven't earned minutes, and running offensive sets that leave Caitlin Clark just standing around watching, you're not coaching, you're improvising. White's defensive strategies have been particularly criticized too. The Fever will build these nice leads, and then they'll just watch them evaporate because of poor defensive rotations and inadequate adjustments. They'll lose games they absolutely should win because the coaching staff just can't figure out how to close out victory. And then, when she's pressed about these failures, White often deflects to officiating complaints instead of taking any accountability for her strategic mistakes. It's frustrating to watch.
Stephanie White, you are supposed to be a defensive coach. We gave away almost 90 points to a team that is like 11th in the league in scoring. It's only like 13 teams. It ain't even that many teams. And they are at the bottom of the league in offense, and we let them come out there and do whatever they wanted offensively. Sonia Citron dominated our wing players. This is embarrassing. Kelsey Mitchell is not a clutch player. When the game is on the line, bro, she just gagged a wide open layup to cut the lead to 1. When the money is on the line in clutch time, you cannot rely on Kelsey Mitchell.
Man, this whole situation is just embarrassing. But here's the thing that should absolutely terrify every Fever fan out there. This isn't just about what's happening this season. Caitlin Clark is on a rookie contract, right? That means she's severely underpaid compared to the immense value she brings to this team and the league. This is supposed to be the window where you build around her, where you take advantage of having a superstar at a discount rate, and you really construct a championship roster. But instead, the Fever are just completely squandering this golden opportunity with sheer organizational incompetence. The proof is right there in the numbers. When Clark plays, the Fever are competitive against anyone, but when she sits, they struggle against teams they should be dominating. That's not sustainable championship construction, folks. That's one player dependency taken to a dangerous extreme. And it's not like the solutions are some big mystery. Look at the New York Liberty, for example. They have a dedicated scouting coordinator, and they consistently identify international talent that contributes immediately. Look at actual championship organizations that invest in infrastructure, in medical staff, and in proper player development systems. The blueprint exists. Simon just completely refuses to follow it. It's baffling.
Indiana Fever, get it done. The size we've been needing, a 6'7" tower, man. We need it because it's limited. Get her, put her in the center of the paint, man. Mentor her, whatever y'all need to do. I don't even know how to say her name, man. No disrespect to you, ma'am. But we need you over here in Indiana, man. We need a 6'7" tower, because there's not a lot of y'all in the league, man. Fever, damn, man. I don't know how we gonna get it done. I don't know. But get it done, Indiana Fever. This is what we need.
The most frustrating part about all of this is that the resources are absolutely there. I mean, Herb Simon is worth over $5 billion. His investment in that practice facility shows he is willing to spend money. But here's the catch. He's spending on all the visible stuff, the buildings and the branding, while completely ignoring the foundational elements that actually win championships. Look, Caitlin Clark deserves so much better than this organizational negligence. She deserves a front office that can actually identify talent before other teams do. She deserves a coaching staff that can maximize everyone's strengths, not just barely survive her absence. She deserves medical and training staff that can truly keep her healthy and extend her career. And she deserves teammates who were acquired through careful evaluation, not just panic signings and phone-a-friend scouting. Plus, the fans deserve better too. They're paying premium prices for tickets, they're buying merchandise, and they're investing emotionally in a team that's being held back by all these ownership shortcuts. They're watching a generational talent just being wasted by an organization that seems way more interested in counting all those Caitlin Clark effect profits than actually building around her properly. It's a huge disservice.
The Fever should really consider making a trade, and I'm telling you, get rid of Brianna Turner. I don't know why she's on the team for. She's not significant to the team, so it won't hurt team chemistry. And go after Cardoso. Cardoso hates Chicago Sky. You can see it in her face. I'm telling you, you could reunite her without trading Dantes, by the way. Get Cardoso and Dantes on the same team. They got that Brazilian connection. And you can think about that connection with Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston and Camilla were both teammates at South Carolina, that Dawn Staley connection. To me, they actually would play well with each other. Think about it. You got...
The reality here is simple, folks. Herb Simon is just letting the Indiana Fever sign whoever they want, and that's because he doesn't want to invest in the actual infrastructure needed to identify who they should want. He's allowing coaching decisions to be made without any proper support systems in place. He's sitting there watching experienced players like Sophie Cunningham get inconsistent playing time, while inexperienced replacements are getting opportunities they haven't even earned. Honestly, from this whole Caitlin Clark injury situation, you can clearly see the Indiana Fever are nowhere near as well managed as people initially thought. The success of 2024, it really just masked fundamental organizational problems that are now being completely exposed. They're signing players just trying to replace Caitlin Clark because they don't even know when she'll be back, and they simply haven't been ready for any injury problems. Caitlin Clark needs a better team, a much more prepared organization, and an ownership that truly wants to win instead of just collecting checks from her stardom. She needs an ownership group that won't settle for good enough when a championship level is absolutely within reach. Look, the clock is ticking on this entire opportunity. Caitlin Clark won't be on a rookie contract forever. The incredible attention she's brought to the league won't last if the on-court product doesn't deliver. And the fans who are investing their time, their money, and all their emotional energy into this team, they definitely won't stick around if this organizational incompetence continues to just waste obvious talent. It's time for a change.